Okay, Sunday, 21st of December 2025. So, Adrian's daily vlog, sharing smart stuff men should know. Knowledge has a half life. So, I saw an interesting tweet this year that said that someone commented saying that it's true that the advice he had heard from his parents 30 or so years ago is not applicable today. He was implying that the advice wasn't worthwhile, but I realized straight away that the deeper meta pattern at play is that the advice and information from 30 years ago has become obsolete. And this is on a rolling basis, and it will be forever. Ideas 30 years in the future will be obsolete and redundant 60 years in the future, both of them from today. Meaning that implicitly, ideas have a half life, information has a half life, and this is something I've been thinking about implicitly this year as well, here and there entropy and half life. Things deteriorating at what rate, at what speed, at what pace, and when does it become critically worthless and not worthwhile hanging on to? And this tweet got me thinking that in ideas and information, advice, best practices, anti patterns are indeed bound to become redundant, obsolete, worthless in the future. It all depends on many different factors of the technology, the culture, the standards, you name it. Ideas and information that I know today and take for granted will be redundant in 15 to 30 or so years from now. And I saw this 15 or so years ago in a certain industry back then. And it actually was happening in real time because certain technology had an upgrade and a new version was released. So what I knew and established that I had been cultivating for the past couple of years back then was suddenly becoming increasingly redundant and obsolete right before my very eyes. It was very interesting. But to reconcile the two is fascinating. So everything we know is is facing expiry date. Which this is why in these videos I have tried really hard to make the lessons eternal, evergreen, and perpetual, meaning they're timeless and classic. They'll be relevant and applicable today. Well, they are relevant and applicable today as they will be in 5, 10, 20 years from now. That's important from a marketing and from a quality perspective. But understand ideas, information becomes irrelevant over time. Okay, another case in point, an interesting thing. It's in the same way that we could say that jobs and industries today will emerge in the future that we can't imagine today because the technology doesn't simply exist. And the best practices and the ideas, whatever else, doesn't yet exist but will exist. Just how in the same way you talk to someone from 1995 about the job of social media manager, to them it means nothing, but to us it means everything. So then you just shift the dates around, something in the future that's yet to be conceived, thought about, even made possible or sustainable, that will be mind blowing to us today in the present. And that exact process will happen and it will result in certain ideas, information, best practices, technologies, you name it, becoming obsolete, redundant, worthless. Ideas have a time limit. Ideas have a shelf life. Ideas have an expiration. These best practices, these best standards, these anti patterns. I did a video about a year or something ago at this point. I guess it was a few weeks ago. I can't remember actually now. One about being a standard deviation out of touch, and another one a month or so ago now, I guess, about being at the zeitgeist, being at the cutting edge. Because as a practical matter, by spending time being out of touch and at the zeitgeist, the alternative, I did a video about this as well actually, always think, and then what? Or what's the alternative? By spending time to study and research and understand things at a more critical, technological, at a wiser way, in a sense of what future proofing yourself really, studying things, the opportunity cost is you become slightly out of touch, but that's a proxy to say you understand more things because you're not spending time in the mainstream, but in the zeitgeist, in the dissident, so to speak. Dissident could be a politically charged word, but on the edges, the fringes, where the marketplace of ideas, where all the new ideas, new technologies are emerging, the innovators or the early adopters, what they're doing and thinking and imagining and strategizing and building and creating. That's the edge. By being involved in those spaces, those schools of thought, you increase the chances and likelihood, or you decrease the chances of being made redundant, being made obsolete, because your ideas are too calcified, too static as the world is shifting and moving onwards. Like you're the Amish, so to speak, you're stuck with, say, horse-drawn carriages, so to speak, while the whole world is moving into AI self-driving cars. It's that kind of analogy, that kind of change being left behind in terms of progress and technology. That is happening. That's powerful. That's fundamental to understand. But ideas have a time limit, an expiry date. So then the question, the meta strategy at play is to find those ideas that are timeless, and there are so many. There are countless timeless truths and principles, and the more of those we have, the more evergreen we are, or the more we can strive and push into the future with greater certainty that we are as synchronized as possible with reality, and thus increase the chances of our success, because we are in tune with these principles of reality so well that no matter what happens in the world in terms of themes, color, fashion, styles, designs, standards, values, you name it, all the nitty-gritty subjective world of human nature and culture, we are surviving. We are thriving because the underpinning principles are being embraced by us. Very important, very powerful. But otherwise, Adrian's daily vlog, sharing smart stuff men should know. Subscribe for more, and you will see me tomorrow.